The city of Dubai once again greets the Gulf Radical Cup 2022 here at Dubai Autodrome. Hello everybody and a very good morning to you from the city of Dubai. We are in Motor City, downtown, and the Autodrome is alive and screaming to the sounds of the Gulf Radical Cup qualifying session. Jake Sanson with you. I'll be joined over the course of the day by Chris Milbourne as well, the voice of Dubai Autodrome. The drivers are out on circuit at the moment, just getting their qualifying session underway for the sprint race later today. The last time the Gulf Radical Cup were in action, they were battling in the last round of the championship at Yas. And of course, now we switch over to the Dubai Autodrome. The man who was on top of everything last time out was George King, the man who's won pretty much everything bar the raffle. So he's absolutely on form at this moment in time, and definitely the king of the hill in the Gulf Radical Cup at the moment. A beautiful blue sky greets us as it's just coming up to 9 o'clock in the morning here in Dubai. And we are going to have a very exciting and very intense battle over the course of the 3 races, 2 sprint races today, and of course the full length duration of the endurance race tomorrow. So the cars are just heading out onto the circuit. There, coming towards us, is Ian Logie, the very talented Scottish racer who is very much an international jet setter these days. Races here in Dubai in the Gulf Radical Cup, but has also been competing of late in the British GT Championship back home in his beloved United Kingdom. And he's had quite the career over the last 10 years in sports car racing. He's done a little bit of everything, really, as the drivers are out on circuit, including George King and Ian Logie, of course, Julien Moni, Zaire Mourad. We also have Ray Yu Wang in the number 10 car. Alex Bekantsov will be in the mix, as will Damien Chiasek, Amer Fazulin, Jacobo Mazza. Ian Roberts will be there in the mix, along with Marcus Bamberg, Abdulnazir Al-Hamidi, Johnny Kazoum, Mohamed Al-Kazemi, and James Sweetnam, who was the first one out on track. And he has set the benchmark so far, 2 minutes 9.594. Heading towards us down the straight is Johnny Kazoum. And then in behind it is the famous Gulf colours of Abdulnazir Al-Hamidi, who is in the Gulf colours. Very appropriate, being the Gulf Radical Cup, referring to the region, of course, rather than the fuel company. But of course, he is racing in the vintage Gulf racing colours. This is a championship where very much the personalities of the drivers come out to play as well, certainly in the case of some of the liveries out there on the circuit. But at the moment, the front runner is James Sweetnam, who has done a 2 minute 9.594 for the lap, just 71 thousandths of a second quicker than that of Mohamed Al-Kazemi. And then in third position at the present moment in time is Abdulnazir Al-Hamidi. There is the 23 for Team Pakistan. That is Zaire Mourad. And Zaire Mourad is obviously running in the Team Pakistan colours and running in 4th position at the moment with a 2 minutes 11.439 for the lap. And then it is Johnny Kazoum just in behind him from Ian Roberts, Jacobo Mazza, Marcus Bamberg and Amer Fazulin, with the top 10 rounded out by Damien Chiasek at this moment in time. So there is the 11. That is Ian Logie, who has just gone fastest, the 2 minute 9.185. And he's gone 0.4 of a second quicker than anybody else as we watch Ray Yu Wang. And he is trying to get himself up to a good speed. His first banker lap was in the 2:31s. So he'll obviously get himself up to speed with a much faster lap. But you really do have to get dialed in with the circuit fairly rapidly, because this circuit obviously takes time to build up the speed. George King is going to be one to watch out for in the 14 car. He's only just gone out onto the circuit. So it won't be too long before he comes through the field and flashes up on the timing screens. But this man is the fastest at the moment in the sprint race qualifying session. Ian Logie, although it was, now James Sweetnam and Mohamed Al-Kazemi have both gone faster. So that man, James Sweetnam, in the 54 car has gone back up to the top spot. Johnny Kazoum has now gone third with a 2 minute 4.863. And there is the number 5 car of Johnny Kazoum, who's gone into third place. Abdulnazir Al-Hamidi, who is behind him on the road in the Gulf colours, has just gone 4th quickest ahead of Marcus Bamberg. And up to second now comes Amer Fazulin, who has done a 2 minute 4.171. But nobody has quite scratched the mark of James Sweetnam in the 54 car. A 2 minute 3.516 for him. So things definitely going well from his point of view. There is Jacobo Mazza. So Jacobo Mazza has come through into position in 8th place at the moment in time. George King has put his first lap in, but it's a very conservative lap to start off with. He is currently running on the 220s at this precise moment in time. But James Sweetenham is the top spot. There is the number 7, that is Ian Roberts. And just in behind him is the Leighton House colours, clearly showing the Formula One credence there, as we watch the 23 of Zaire Murad of Team Pakistan. Treble 7, Damian Chosek. So Damian Chosek is doing a fantastic job as he runs around the circuit, just trying to get himself dialed in. And then we have the likes of George King and Alex Bukansov, who are together out on the circuit in terms of lap times. But at the moment, the top spot is still currently held by James Sweetenham. He has the front-running pace. 15 cars out there on the circuit. It'll make for an interesting endurance race tomorrow and a very thrilling pair of sprint races over the course of today. The Gulf Radical Cup obviously sharing the Dubai Autodrome with the NGK UAE Pro Car Championship, as well as Formula Regional Asia and the F4 UAE Championship. This man is the fastest man on track, James Sweetenham, in the 54 car. As he comes towards us, he has the fastest lap time so far. His last lap was not quicker than his previous best. There is Damian Chosek in the treble 7 car. So Damian Chosek is obviously trying to make as much of an improvement as he possibly can. But this is obviously going to be a very exciting part of the day for the drivers, because they're trying to get their cars dialed into the circuit and they want to feel as much speed out of these cars as they possibly can. So they will dial in and try and get a strong lap time, as up to the top spot comes Johnny Kazoum. So Johnny Kazoum has gone into first place with his fastest lap time, just 0.006 of a second quicker than James Sweetenham. Amir Fazulin is third at the moment from Mohamed Al-Kazemi, Abdunazir Al-Hamidi and Zaire Murad in the Team Pakistan colours. There he is. Zaire Murad just getting himself around the final bend. Marcus Bamberg and Ian Roberts, and then Jacobo Mazza and Ian Loggy in the top 10. From Damian Chosek, Ray Yu Wang, George King, Alex Bukansov and Julien Moni, who has not set a lap time as yet. We hope that Julien Moni is going to be able to do so, and we hope that everything is tickety-boo at the number 32 crew. Bit of a moment there for Zaire Murad, who just drops a turn, and we watch Alex Bukansov going out of the final turn, or the Radisson Blue corner, depending on what your landmark preference is. But there is the treble 7, Damian Chosek, as he runs across the line, and there is the 63 of Alex Bukansov, who has just shot up into 5th position with his first serious flying lap of the session. He's done a 2-minute 4.193, very competitive indeed. These cars will go around the circuit here on the Grand Prix configuration in just over 2 minutes or so. They can get into the 2-minute, if they can get into the low 2-minute 2s, then they're really doing a fine job. But the Grand Prix circuit here, fabulous racecourse this, and certainly a real test of everything as far as the radicals are concerned. This Grand Prix circuit, very, very tough to get used to. 5.39 kilometers in length, the Grand Prix circuit. There is the 47, that is Mohamed Al-Kazemi, still running solidly in the top 6 at the moment. And there is the gorgeous Leighton House colours of Marcus Bamberg, very much a Grand Prix retro lover, as he runs his car in the famous Leighton House colours run by the Leighton House and March Ilmore teams of the late 80s and early 90s. And I have to say, a Radical really does look gorgeous in those colours. There is the man challenging for the top spot. That is George King, who has yet to really set a fast time. But it isn't going to be long until he does so. This could even be the lap where he chooses to do so. He's been very strong over the course of the season so far. Last time when the Radicals came to play out at Yas Marina, he won everything. And so he is still just battling away for position, trying to get the car dialed in. As into the pits comes Zaire Murad. There is Damian Chosek once again coming off the final corner and getting himself up to speed as he comes through. Ian Loggy has just gone fastest with a 2:02.8. So he's been dialing up the speed, and there he goes up to the top spot once again. James Sweetenham running in second from Johnny Kazoum and Amir Fazulin. Alex Bukansov just coming across the line now. Does he improve on 5th position? His time will be a very comparable one. He's just done a 2:04.193. Now he goes fastest as he comes across the line, a 2:02.7. That's a very strong lap from Alex Bukansov. And there is the second place man, Ian Loggy. These two trading fastest laps at the moment. James Sweetenham is not far away, nor is Jonah Kazoum or Marcus Bamberg, who has just gone into 5th position. There is James Sweetenham. So Sweetnam is hoping for a lap time that can push him ahead of the other two. His previous best was a 2:03.176. Can he go even quicker to displace the two gentlemen in front? I think that was his last lap, to be fair, as he came across the line in a 2:03.176, so still there in position. Johnny Kazoum is going to come through and complete his sixth flying lap. Sweetnam has improved, by the way, to a 2:03.087. Johnny Kazoum is going to come through. There is Marcus Bamberg once again in the Leighton House colours. And Alex Bukansov is now ahead of Ian Loggy, James Sweetnam and Johnny Kazoum, who does a 2:03.6, not an improvement on his previous best lap time. Marcus Bamberg across the line trying to go faster than a 2:03.9. And it'll be interesting to see what his time is as he comes across the line. Can he go faster still and put himself up into the higher end of the top 5, because he is currently in P5 on a 2:03.961. Amir Fazulin in 6th position. Jacobo Mazza is in 7th, and then Mohamed Al-Kazemi, Abdunazir Al-Hamidi and Zaire Murad in the Team Pakistan colours. And then we have Damien Choshek, Ian Roberts, Ray Yu Wang, George King and Julien Moni. Still no lap time from Julien Moni. And George King is now at last setting lap times under 2:10. Zaire Murad has just come into the pits and has gone out again. And there is the 18, I believe, coming towards us. Oh no, my apologies, that's the treble 7. It was the light. It was the sun bouncing off the bonnet that made it look a little bit deceptive. Damien Chosek. That was Ray Yu Wang. There he is in the final bend. Ray Yu Wang just trying to get himself higher up the ranking. Bit of an improvement from Mohamed Al-Kazemi, although he has come into the pits now. George King, there we go, 4th position. Here comes the big laps from George King. He's just done a 2:03.28. So that is good enough for 4th position at the moment. But the treble 7 coming around, that is Damien Choshek, who is still scratching at the surface in the top 10, currently running in 12th place on a 2:05.211. Still no sign of Julien Moni, so hopefully we're going to see him in the races if there is a problem in qualifying. But certainly he is in the entry list. And Johnny Kazoum comes across the line, remaining in 5th position. And there is the number 25 of Marcus Bamberg, 6th position, still in the Leighton House colours, as he comes over the line. And there is the number 5 once again, Johnny Kazoum, trying to move up a higher than 5th position. Jacobo Mazza has made a good improvement on this lap, a 2:04.008. So that puts Jacobo Mazza into 8th position. And up to the top spot, there we go. That didn't take as long as I thought. George King onto the top spot, a 2:02.39. So straight there with 4 minutes to go in the time qualifying session. No major shocks. George King bangs in a fast lap. He's obviously saved it till the last. And the number 14 has gone into top spot as we look at Johnny Kazoum, who is still in car number 5 in P5. But George King is trying to continue his great run, and he looks like he could break the 2-minute ones the way he is currently working at the moment. Finding good speed in the car. There once again is Damien Choshek, who comes across the line. His best time so far is a 2:05.04. And across the line behind, there is still Choshek going into turn 1. And up to the top spot has come Alex Bukansov. So that's who we must have been watching going down the main straight. Alex Bukansov has reclaimed pole position for the first sprint race. He's managed to get himself up to the top spot on a 2:02.371. So some very impressive performances so far. There is the 25 of Marcus Bamberg. Still putting in some good performances here. And there is the 23 car. That is Zaire Murad. So Zaire Murad is doing his best to come through. And so across the line comes the Team Pakistan car. And he is still on a 2:04.522 at the moment. There is the number 76, also carrying Leighton House stickers. That is Abdunazir Al-Hamidi, but he also runs the Gulf colours as he comes through. So the drivers are making good work of things at the moment. There is the 23, that is the Team Pakistan entry of Zaire Murad. And here is George King, hoping to take back the top spot. as he comes through the final corner. A couple of drivers obviously feeling that they can't get any more from the car. There is Johnny Kazoum, who has done all he can in this particular session, so he brings it back into the pits. George King trying to get the top spot back again in qualifying. He's only got to find another 20 thousandths of a second. What a save that was from Abdul Nasir Al-Hamidi, pushing and leaning on the car as the back end tries to come around and overtake the front. He just managed to catch that before the car swapped ends. So that was very well held. Jacopo Mazza going through as well. There is the treble 7 still of Damian Czosek. And what can he do? Because we've got a minute and a half to go. Damian Czosek has just popped in a 2:04.701. That's his best time of the session. But it keeps him just outside the top 10. He hasn't made enough of progress to continue his mark forward. So Mohamed El Kazemi has just gone across the line in a 2:05.167. And we have Alex Bekansov has just come into the pits. So he has decided, that's it, I can't get any more from the car. So if George King goes faster than him, so be it. Ian Loggy has peeled in third, so he can't go any faster. And Johnny Kazoum, we obviously saw him peel off into the pits and do the same thing. So now it's a case of what can Alex Bekansov do in relation to, what can George King do, I should say, in relation to Alex Bekansov, because he is on one final flying lap, the 14. There is Zaire Murad in the Team Pakistan car. Still trying to scratch the surface of the top 5. He is in 10th position at the moment. A big twitch on the brakes from Marcus Bamberg. That could compromise his exit speed out of the final corner. And we'll see what the Leighton House Colours car can do across the line. Marcus Bamberg remains in 6th position. He does not improve. And his time is a 2:04.208. So he does not improve his overall time. And George King across the line, it is a 2:02.6 for him, so it's not an improvement either. And for once, George King is vanquished. So for once, it is going to be him out of position there as the cars peel right off the circuit to pick up a little bit of the dust and the marbles there. Not entirely sure why the cars have stopped out on the circuit. It's a little bit unusual, as there is Zaire Murad, and there is the number 10 of the highly talented Ray Yu Wang. That's interesting. Why has George King stopped out on the circuit? He has got the fastest lap from this particular bunch of laps, but nobody is going to top the time of Alex Bekansov by the look of it, as across the line to finish off, that is Mohamed El Kazemi, who has crossed the line in a 2:03.667, which is his best time from the session. So, fascinating stuff. So to give you a run through then of the positions after the qualifying, you can see the lap times from the last sort of 4 or 5 minutes or so, but up to that point, Alex Bekansov had already pitted. And so his lap time does not come up there in terms of the fastest pure lap time. But according to the MyLaps screen, and you can follow MyLaps live timing as it happens as well, you can head over to speedhive.mylaps.com and you can follow the action as it happens. Alex Bukansov was indeed the fastest driver with a 2:02.371, just a whisker ahead of George King. And when I say a whisker, I mean only 19 thousandths of a second between them. Ian Loggy in third place from James Sweetnam and Johnny Kazoum, then Mohamed Al-Kazemi and Marcus Bamberg, Abdulnazir Al-Hamidi and Amir Fezulin, Jacobo Matza, Zaire Morad, Damian Shoshek, Rayu Wang, Ian Roberts, and there was sadly no time set by Julien Moni, although I am told that lap 8 from car 54, James Sweetnam, was invalidated due to track limits. So that lap time will not actually count, and that will obviously correct when we are getting ready for the start of races. But that brings to the end the qualifying for the sprint race. And so obviously that will all correct itself on the live timing screen when we are getting ourselves ready for racing. In a little while, we will be getting up to speed again with more qualifying, and that will come from the F4 UAE Championship as well as the Formula Regional Asia Championship. And we'll also be bringing you the action from the UAE NGK Pro Car Championship over the course of the weekend as well. Plenty of action to bring you over the course of this weekend here at Dubai Autodrome. Plenty of great motorsport action, and it's all going to take place right here. You can see that the F4 cars are getting ready. They will have their free practice session. We'll allow them to do that in privacy for the time being. When we come back, we will be doing qualifying sessions for the other 3 categories. See you later.